Gopi Jana Balaba Girivanadari Yasoda Nandana Bhajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanatari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paribhajikacharya Astateda Shishman. His Divine Grace Abhayachara and Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki. ISKCON BBT Founder Acharya Jagaguru Srila Prabhupada Ki. Ananda Kura Vaishnavrinda Ki. Namchar Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. Prem Shri Goho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaita Gadada Shiva Sari Go Bhakta Vrinda Ki. Say Sri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki. Vrindavadam Ki, Mathuradam Ki, Dwarkadam Ki, Navadivdam Ki, Jagannapuridam Ki, Jamunamai Ki, Gangamai Ki, Tulsi Maharani Ki, Bhakti Devi Ki, Samveda Bhaktivinda Ki, Srila Prabhupada Ki, Sri Radha Madhava Ki, Lord Nishingadev Ki, Shri Pantatattva Ki, Gopremanandi. All glories of the assembled devotees. All glories of the assembled devotees. All glories of the assembled devotees. All glories of the divine lotus feet of Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Where's that water? Oh, in the glass. All right. I was in Los Angeles, 1970. Prabhupada sang Jai Radha Madhava. And when he finished, he said, they say God is dead. Prabhupada said, we know his name, we know his phone number, we know his address, we know everything. It's all there in Jai Radha Madhava. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Ato Yatavan Na Vitarka Gocharam Cheto Mana Karma Vichobir Anjasa Yad Ashrayam Yena Yata Pratiyate Satur Vibhavyam Pranatasmi Tat Padam Ato Yatavana Vitaka Gocharam Cheto Mana Karma Vichobiranjasa Yadashrayam Yena Yata Pratiyate Satur Vibhavyam Pranitasmi Tat Padam Ato Yatavana Vitarka Gocharam Cheto Mana Karma Vichobiranjasa Yadashrayam yena yata pratiyate Suturvibhavyam pranitasmitat padam Ato yatavana vitarka gocharam Cheto manasa kama vachobir anjasa manaka Yadashrayam yena yata pratiyate Sadurvibhavyam pranitasmitat padam You're a little too high there, my friend. Yadashrayam yena yata pratiyate Sadurvina Vaishnavis. Not all at once now. All right. One thing I forgot to say. Fool I may be, and those who know me, fool I am. And all of you are lending me your ears to hear Bhagavatam. May I somehow or other say something that is of value and pleasing to you. Then that will be my time well spent. So thank you. The word for word, ato. Therefore, she decided to surrender unto the Supreme Lord. Yatavat, as perfectly as one can perceive. Na, not. Vitarka gocharam, beyond all arguments, reason, and sense perception. Cheta, by consciousness. Mana, by mind. Karma, by activities. Vichobi, or by words. Anjasa, taking all of them together. We cannot understand. Yat ashrayam, under whose control? Yena, by whom? Yata, for whom? Pratiyate, can be conceived only can perceive only that from him everything emanates. Sudurvibhavyam, beyond our sense perception or consciousness. Pranata asmi, let me surrender. Tat padam, unto his lotus feet. Translation. Therefore, let me surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and offer my obeisances unto him, who is beyond the conception of human speculation, the mind, activities, words, and arguments, who is the original cause of this cosmic manifestation, by whom the entire cosmos is maintained, and by whom we can conceive of its existence. Let me simply offer my obeisances, for he is beyond my contemplation, speculation, and meditation. He is beyond all of my material activities. And Prabhupada's purport. One has simply to realize the greatness of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We should not try to understand him by any material means, subtle or gross. Mother Yasoda, being a simple woman, could not find out the real cause of the vision. Therefore, out of maternal affection, she simply offered obeisances unto the Supreme Lord to protect her child. She could do nothing but offer obeisances to the Lord. It is said, Achintakaloye bhavanatam starkena yojayet, from the Mahabharata, Bhishma Parva 5:22. One should not try to understand the supreme cause, that which is inconceivable. One should not try to understand the supreme cause by argument or reason. When we are beset by some problem for which we can find no reason, there is no alternative than to surrender to the Supreme Lord and offer him our respectful obeisances. Then our position will be secure. This was the means adopted in this instance also by Mother Yasoda. Whatever happens, the original cause is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sarvakarana karanam. When the immediate cause cannot be ascertained, let us simply offer our obeisances under the lotus feet of the Lord. Mother Yasoda concluded that the wonderful things she saw within the mouth of her child were due to him, meaning the absolute Vishnu, she's thinking, although she could not clearly ascertain the cause. Therefore, when a devotee cannot ascertain the cause of suffering, he concludes, Nate nukampam sushamikshamaнаyo bhunjana evatma kritam vipakam hridva kripanam paridamanaste jivete yo mukti paredhataya bhak. From the Bhagavatam 10:14-8. The devotee accepts that it is due to his own past misdeeds that the Supreme Personality of Godhead has caused him some small amount of suffering. Thus, he offers obeisances to the Lord again and again. Such a devotee is called Mukti Pade Sadaya Bhak. That is, he is guaranteed his liberation from the material world. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 2:14, Mattasparshas tu konteya sitoshna sukha dukada agamapayano nityas tangstatikshavabarataha. We should know that the material sufferings due to the material body will come and go. Therefore we must tolerate the suffering and proceed with discharging our duty as ordained by our spiritual master. Om Agena Tarandasya Gyanagana Salakaya Chakshushan Militangina Tasmati Shri Gurave Namaha. Sometimes this simple surrender is dismissed, condemned. This is for simpletons. This is wishful thinking. These are for old ladies afraid of death. But not for me. I am a thoughtful person. I've stand on the strength of my own experience. But the truth is, and this is the case we're going to try to make, that this simple surrender, Occam's razor, it's a principle of logic, that system, approach, conclusion that has the fewest steps, is the straightest line, is probably the truth. I was in Prabhupada's room one time. We're off the track, but so it goes. Young man, touch your nose. Stand up. Yes, you. Stand up. Yeah, no, the man next to you. Stand up. Stand up. He's in another world. Stand up. Now, touch your nose. Oh, no. You have to touch your nose like this. It's Prabhupada's example. You can sit down. Thanks. So, this simple surrender is not based on sentiment. It's based on profound logic. And we're going to make a few points to the best of our ability. There's a type of turtle. It's a giant, I don't think it's a Galapagos turtle. If we have any marine biologists out there, they can help me. But this is a large turtle. Some of them live to 100 years plus. Talk about being condemned. And they're so stupid. They come up, I think it's annually, or I don't know what it is, but whatever the period of time, they come up to lay their eggs on the beach. They come out of the sea and lay there. And they're a large animal, whatever it is. And so when they're climbing up onto the beach, if they run into something, if they run into a log or a rock, they just keep, and they back up, and they back up, and they just keep at it. And you can actually volunteer. You can go down there to the Galapagos Islands or wherever it is, and you can go there on the beach, and they help turn them around. Because they'll just stay at it. Now, that's determined. That takes great energy. Is it smart? So to keep banging our head against the material nature, raging like Lear on the moor, is that intelligent? But to admit our actual position, that we're being kicked like a football. Prabhupada means soccer. We could say soccer, but football. Prabhupada said that he played soccer as a young man. Anyone know what position in soccer? Prabhupada was a goalie. Does anyone know why Prabhupada was the goalie? He said he didn't want to run so much. Prabhupada was cool-headed calculation from day one, So, do we just get kicked like a football and never, just keep at it? Where's your backbone? Where's your strength? You're spiritualists, you're quitters. You gave up the game. Well, if the game is rigged and you're banging your head against a wall, isn't it intelligent to find another method? So it's not foolishness. It's not for simpletons. And we know the example. We know the example of Dr. Frog. Well, let's speed ahead a bit. Let me pick on somebody else. I picked on you. Who's far enough? Okay, you, right there. You can stay. You don't have to get up yet. You're going to get up in a minute. Now, suppose some prankster. The point is that we are limited. Let's be honest. We are finite. Anyone who says they're not finite, we're controlled by time. I don't even have class time to count the number of ways that we are limited. So if we are finite and we're trying to understand the infinite, is something wrong here? So, simple example, it's a visual. Suppose some prankster has poured glue on this seat before I sat down. And it's fast drying. So I am now fixed to this seat. I am finite. I want to, let's right hand. I want to touch work with me, my friend. If I'm trying to touch him, I can stretch, I can magnify, but I can only go so far because I am fixed. I'm limited. Can I touch him or not? Can we shake hands or not? We have some no advocates. Do we have any yes advocates? Yes. How can I touch him? Although I'm limited, I can only go this far. How is it possible? Come to me. It's a visual. Come on, my friend. Then it becomes possible. If the infinite takes the initiative and approaches me, descends to me. Spiritual knowledge, real knowledge, is revelatory. Prabhupada liked it. You cannot take the kingdom of God by storm. It's not simpleton. It's logic. I'm finite. The Absolute is infinite. It must take the initiative. Therefore, the question becomes how to attract the infinite. That's the intelligent question, not banging your head against a rock like a turtle. That's not intelligent. I was in Prabhupada's room one time, and this man kept saying, well, as far as I know, Swami. Well, as far as I know, Swami. Well, as far as I know, Swami. And the third or fourth time Prabhupada said, that's my point. How far do you know? It's fantastic, huh? How far do you know? That's the question. That's an honest question. Malati Devi told me this. Prabhupada was in London because they say, show me God. Show me God. Hey, I'm ready. Show me God. Of course, what's your qualification? That's another thing. And Prabhupada would answer in different ways. I heard Prabhupada answer one time, show me God. Prabhupada said, that's not the question. The question is, why can't you see God? The mystic power of God is all around us. We'll get there in a moment. But the Malati Devi told me, Prabhupada in London, beautiful Radha Gokulananda, Prabhupada's out at the manor. Prabhupada sitting here on his Vyasasana. Temple room's not very big, completely packed. Deities here, Prabhupada here. Man stands up. Can you see God? Prabhupada said, yes, but you're standing in the way. Sit down. That was it. The guy was finished, you know. So, you know, the mystic, I'll give an example. I've given it before, but it's serviceable. I'm going to use it again. The mystic power of God is all around us. Parameshwara, Prabhupada said. The sun is shining on the ocean, and it's drawing off the ocean water. Do you know why there's salt in the ocean? It's just there by chance. It's mineral deposit. They have so many. Prabhupada said it controls the distillation rate, and it acts as a preservative. So the water doesn't evaporate too fast, and it doesn't become stagnant or polluted. Very nice, Krishna's arrangement. So the ocean is perfectly tuned. The sun is shining. The water is evaporated. It's carried via clouds. It catches on the mountains. When it catches on the mountains, it pounds on the mountains. All the water comes out, picks up all the nutrients, all the minerals out of the mountains, brings it down, fertilizes all the crops, waters all the crops, takes all the waste, flows into the ocean, and drops it back in the ocean. And it's a perfect cycle. Now let's just take, we don't have much time, let's take one element of that cycle. Because the principle is, or my presentation is, the mystic power of God, Prabhupada's presentation, the mystic power of God is all around us. Now, if I were able to float this glass of water, I mean, I'd be pretty impressed. I imagine you'd be, oh, what if I could float it over and Swami must be Bhagawan. But if you calculate, and I've done the calculations with my dear friend who I miss daily, Sadhaputta Prabhu. If you calculate, it rained in San Diego County. It rained in LA County, Orange County, so many other counties, but let's just be conservative. Let's just take Orange County. And it covered it with a 1/16 of an inch, which is minuscule. But you can calculate the survey. Sadhaputta did his field, PhD in statistics, off he went. So you take the surface area of San Diego County, you 1/16 of an inch, how many gallons of water it would take? A gallon has a fixed weightage, I don't know, 9 pounds, 10 pounds, you can Google it, go home. But whatever it is, it's a fixed rate. You take that fixed rate of a gallon, and you can figure how many gallons. And it turns out it's billions, with a B, billions of tons of water are floating in the sky. I float this little glass, and I'm Bhagawan. What about the billions of tons floating in the sky? Oh, that's by chance. So the mystic power of God is all around us, and we have the eyes to see. So that is not a foolish, that is logical. That's my point. To actually surrender to Krishna and admit our position, that we are totally... Prabhupada said, you think you're sitting on the floor? I'm sitting on the hand of Krishna. Prabhupada said, I'm speaking to you by the mercy of God. You are hearing by the mercy of God. The mercy of God is all around us, if you have the brains to see. So, Prabhupada was peeling an orange. Tangerine, we call it, but you call it orange. Prabhupada packed it, peeled it. He was breaking into pieces to give to the devotees in San Diego. Prabhupada said, how can they say there's no God? It comes so nicely packaged. Individual servings, Jai Radha Madhava. We're going to be dead from plastic. If climate change doesn't kill us, plastic will. So, it's biodegradable. I mean, it's just one thing. Comes so nicely packaged. You can't do it. We can't do it. So, it is a symptom. I'm just looking at the time. One of the symptoms of the age of Kali is profound arrogance. With no qualification. I mean, if you're arrogant and you've actually done something, well, at least you've got an excuse. But in Kali Yuga, we're the bottom of the barrel. Everybody else got out already, you know. So, and one of their sayings, there's an ethos, there's a principle behind materialistic reduction scientists. It starts with an axiom. Man is the measure of all things. That everything can be broken down into tiny pieces that can be measured. Ultimately, everything, in due course of time, can be broken down into pieces that can be measured, quantified, reassembled, and understood. Everything is ultimately subordinate to my sense perception and my intellect. Why? Why do we accept that? It is profound arrogance. Christopher Columbus' aunt goes out exploring. He's marching along here, sent out by the Queen to find new lands. He comes up me, he crawls over my head, crawls through my seat, going, and he reports back. Vast lands, oceans, mountains, streams, rivers, hills, forests, all uninhabited. He's climbing on me. I'm a person, but what can he understand of that? So we don't expect that the ant can understand all things. And what are we compared to the devas, compared to the forces of this universe? Prabhupada told Sariputta, and Sariputta told me, that Prabhupada told him that their measure, I guess I'll go there, that our measure is, their measure, they can only understand things of medium size and nearby. Medium size and nearby. Sariputta immediately, blew it out from the sutra. If you take big, what's happening out in the cosmos, astrophysics, dwarf stars, I don't know what, black holes. One of my favorite, go home and Google it, dark matter. Dark matter is 80% of the universe. Some say 90% of the universe. You know why it's dark? Nobody can find it. You know why they've created the principle of dark matter? Because in order for the existence, the cosmos, to hang together, so it doesn't just spin out or implode on itself, there has to be a certain amount of mass that can create the gravitational forces that hold the thing together. Can't find it. Can't find it. Well, it must be there, because of course we're right. This is not honest. You study the evidence. You may have a hypothesis. You study the evidence, and where the evidence goes, that's your conclusion. But they don't do that. And they do that. Don't get me started. I don't have time. And you can read Dhruta Karma, one of my great heroes. You can read his book. They start off with a conclusion, and they just shape-shift the evidence. They hammer it, they bend it, they toss it out until it fits their conclusion. Dark matter, 80% plus of the matter of the universe, they don't know where the hell it is. And I'm supposed to swallow this stuff? You come to Badrinarayan Swami's grocery store. You buy something worth $10. You give me $100. And I say, thank you very much. You say, where's my change? You say, oh, it's there. They're just dark dollars. You're going to accept, you go, what the? Where's the ethics department here, you know? I'm calling the police. And yet they feed that to us. And it is like that in every single field you go to. I've had them, well, whatever. I've seen so many doctors. Top doctors, Scripps Hospital, one of the best hospitals in the world. I said, you know, why does this work, this medicine? He says, to tell you the truth, we don't know. It was actually designed for epilepsy. Somebody took it by accident, it worked. So the guy told me, okay, fine, it works. I'm not going to argue with the guy, but I have no idea. So anyway, wait. We're marching forward. We're standing on the shoulders of giants. People used to die. Now we, do transplants. Come on, man. We've invented so many medicines. We've invented smallpox. We've done, so many things. Actually, they haven't. And bubonic plague is coming back at us. Yeah. But that's another story. Okay, fine. You've made some progress. I don't know what it is. Somebody can tell me later on. Olympics pole vaulter, 1950. He could pole vault, or she, I don't know who it was, 12 feet, 14 feet. Let's be generous, 18 feet. Now, they've improved. Better shoes, better poles, better technique, better training. So I don't know what it is now, 21, 22, who cares? Come back as some kind of cricket. They can hop all day long, Okay. We accept that they've improved, that they've built incrementally. They're saying to us, each generation increases the wealth of knowledge, and we're building up. We're progressing. One man kept saying, Prabhupada, we're making progress. Prabhupada said, your progress is like a moth into the flames. You're moving, but in what direction? Shouldn't you ask that? So here's the thing. Back to our high pole vaulter. Fine, they're at 22 feet. They may get to 30 feet. They may, Acme jet shoes. I don't know what they're going to do. Get it to 50 feet. Are they ever going to pole vault to the moon? By increments? Does anyone expect they're ever going to pole vault to the moon? No. So the incremental principle works within a scale. It's limited. So this idea, no, you just give us enough time and we'll get there. We're going to conquer life, conquer death. We're going to figure consciousness is brain function. You're never going to do it. Good, I got that off my chest. And it goes like that. We don't have much time here. But from the biggest, bigger, small, quantum physics, standard physics, one's based on waves, one's based on particles, completely they can't even rectify them. It's called the grand unified theory. Anybody who figures out how to put quantum mechanics and regular physics together gets the Nobel Peace Prize. They're completely contradictory systems. And we got to swallow this stuff. So, I think I wanted to, I appreciate from, it may be simpleton, but isn't it simple to be efficient? Jayapataka Maharaj said the other day when they were at the TOVP opening, he said, oh geez, time's flying, that you can spend, he said 100 million on the Voyager, but there are actually 2 Voyagers. And I did a Google on it, that great oracle of truth. And $465 million, tax dollars at work, on the Voyager. And I don't know what they came back, beep, 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 beep. I mean, whatever they came back with. Well, maybe it's this, or well, no, I think it's, could be this, But he said, Jayapataka Maharaj said, you can spend $465 million and come back with a beep, 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 or some radio, whatever it is, and have no idea what the hell's going on, and speculate. Or you can pick up the Srimad Bhagavatam for a few dollars from a Sankirtan devotee, read the dust jacket, and know all about the universe. Now you tell me who's smart. You know, what's efficient? Now it's a matter of faith and knowledge, fine, that's another issue. But the fact of the matter is the knowledge is there. So, Prabhupada, in the purport, after making the point that we're never going to climb over the mountain of our ignorance and illusion and limitations by your words or your consciousness or it's never going to happen. Therefore, it's intelligent to surrender. And then Prabhupada builds on that. He takes the purport and he makes the point that, and we all see this. If Krishna is inconceivable, we accept, okay, fine, we're Vaishnavas, Krishna is inconceivable. But my difficulty, why is Krishna doing this to me? That should be conceivable. We accept that he's conceivable over here. But in my own life, when I'm faced with difficulty, anybody here ever have any difficulty? Prabhupada's on a morning walk here. You can hear the tape. He's here in Mayapur. And Prabhupada says, excuse me, we'll run out of steam here. Prabhupada says, you can hear the devotees walking, you hear Prabhupada's cane. Prabhupada says, devotees don't suffer. There's a long pause. And the devotees on the walk. I don't know whether it was 73 or 74, but you know, we were sleeping on the Lotus building was unfinished. It was a construction site. And, you know, I mean, out in the middle of grass, rice fields and mosquitoes and Mahatma Gandhi's weight loss program, you know, they got the Bombay Blues, you know. It was tough. It was really, we were covered with mosquito. But I had one brahmachari who came with me. After 4 days, he wouldn't get out of a sleeping bag. I had another brahmachari. We're off the track, but it makes you appreciate what's happened in Mayapur. There was one brahmachari. He was sitting in the room quietly, and I thought he was chanting Gayatri. But he's not a Brahmin. I knew he wasn't initiated. I thought, well, what is this guy up to? So when he came out of his trance, I said, you know, what were you doing? Were you chanting Gayatri? You're not initiated. He said, no. He said, I was dreaming. I was back home in San Diego, and I was going down the grocery store, and I was picking out the ingredients, and I was cooking myself a nice meal, you know? So Prabhupada said, devotees don't suffer. And then you hear Panchadevita Maharaj at the time. Panchadevita Maharaj says, in that unique voice, Prabhupada, if the devotees don't suffer, exactly what are we doing? Which I thought was a classic, you know. And Prabhupada laughs, Prabhupada chuckles. And Prabhupada said that, because it says in the purport, our position is secure. And Prabhupada said, that's all right. Next life, back home, back to Godhead. And Prabhupada, I pulled it out. Now, where are my glasses? I'm a finite being. I can't even find my glasses. And I'm going to find the secrets of the universe? I mean, come on. So, I wanted to quote, Prabhupada said, here it is. Prabhupada says, it is the suffering of a devotee is a curative treatment administered by the personal hand of the Lord. I just think that's a profound sentence. Let it soak in a minute. Prabhupada said devotees suffer for 3 reasons. One of those reasons is token reaction. We've done so many foolish things and we get a minimized reaction, you know? Token reaction. Another reason devotees suffer, Prabhupada says, is to teach the conditioned souls. You teach the daughter-in-law by teaching the daughters. We look at how Prabhupada struggled to spread this movement, Sankirtan devotees, and we have faith to go ahead. We see Prabhupada's determination. We look at the Pandavas. Prabhupada said they were being hunted like animals in the forest. And Prabhupada said within 18 days, Yudhishthira Maharaj was emperor of the world. It's in Detroit. Prabhupada said, Krishna can give you the whole world in 18 days. Then he said, why 18 days? 18 hours. Then Prabhupada said, but what will you do with it? Simply sleep. You have to be qualified. I mean, we're going to take over the world. Well, hey, manage the temple first. So put your shoulder to the wheel and do something, buddy. So one reason, token reaction. 3, devotees set an example. We see how the devotees are transcendental, how they tolerate Trinadapi Sunechena, how they're saintly. We can learn from the tree. Tree is standing there. Dogs are offering their respects in their own unique fashion. People are snapping branches off, picking the... Tree never says, hey, I'm done. I'm out of here, man. I'm going to the Himalayas. I can't take it anymore. You know? And they don't discriminate. Tree gives to everyone. Doesn't say fruit for you, none for you, buddy. You walk that dog. I know what was going on. I'm not enough for you. They don't discriminate. So we can learn. I mean, there's so many things. Enlightenment by the natural path. So they learn by seeing the devotees. We had a, geez, I'm looking at the time. We had a devotee, Sankirtan devotee, Indra Bharta was his name, very nice devotee. Blissful brahmachari. I took him to the welfare office to get medical, government, whatever you call it, Medicare, whatever they call it, whatever it is. And they give you a sheet to fill out. And it gives you, bank balance, savings, stock, this, that, property. They ask you gold fillings, they ask you everything, change in your pocket. I mean, it's anything. It's amazing how much, it's cheap. Now, if you've ever been in the Detroit welfare office, it's a pocket of misery. Anyway, I don't want to take up too much time. So the point is, the lady, who, the clerk, and, you fill out your form. She's behind bulletproof glass. You got one of those little windows, crank in, crank out, She doesn't look up. It's just, it's absolute chaos, Yeah, number 14, number 14, come up, So he comes up, he's number 14, and he slides this form through the, under the, and she looks at it. Usually he just looks stamped, neck, It was the first form. She actually opened up to us. You'll see why. It was the first form she'd ever seen in 20 years working there that was an absolute zero. It was a brahmachari. He had no assets. Completely surrender. I mean, he had the greatest asset, bona fide spiritual master, all that. Fine, great. But zero, right? And she looked at it, and there's a blissful, effulgent brahmachari. Free from anxiety, free from misery, nasojite, nakanchite, brahmabhuta prasanatma, And it just didn't compute. You could just see, she said, excuse me for using 3 letters. She said, how the hell is this possible? You look so damn happy. So, sets an example. And I went to my high school reunion, and I met a man, Mark Gowdy, owns Gowdy Motors, Alhambra Motors, Heritage Motors. Guy's millionaire, multi-times over. Got the house that goes down to the sea, private beach, 3rd trophy wife. He told me, when you joined this, whatever you did, when you became a monk, Hare Krishna monk, I thought you'd lost your mind. I really thought you'd just gone bonkers off the deep end. I was going to come try to save you, but I met some of our fellow friends. They told me, we tried, he's too far gone, you'll never get him out, So he said, what is that? 2 roads diverged in the forest. I took the one left, traveled, and that has made all the difference. I took one path, he took another. He said, I can look back. I'm 67, so he was 65 at the time. He was same age. He said, I can look. He said, I have gotten everything I wanted in life. He said, I have grabbed happiness with both hands. I'm sorry. He said, I have grabbed everything I wanted with both hands. He said, but happiness has slipped right through my fingers. He said, you did the right thing. I can now understand that you did the right thing. He almost cried. He then said to me, is it too late for me? Can you imagine? He's got so much money. I sold him a Bhagavatam set. I got him a set of Japamala. He's a happy man now. So devotees suffer to set an example. We can set an example. They see they're beyond all this nonsense. They're not chasing the dog after their tail, all the petty, paltry, putrid pleasures of this world. And there's another reason devotees suffer. This is the third reason Prabhupada gave. Prabhupada said, sometimes Krishna just gives us a good kick. Don't stay here. Stanu, it's a perverted reflection of the soul. The soul is steady. So the perverted reflection is we become satisfied. We become lethargic. We become acclimatized to our condition. Well, not so bad. Not so bad? You heard this saying in America? Oh, it's not so bad. That's what the man said when he fell off the roof before he hit the ground. So what? Not so bad. So Krishna gives us a good kick every now and then. And Prabhupada says it just so profoundly. A curative treatment administered by the personal hand of the Lord. So it's not that we become stoic, we just tolerate. Like that turtle that's just banging against the stone, or like a tree, we just stand there. That's not what it's talking about. But let us say it this way, because I want to get to the point. That surrender is not blind. But what is it? How does it take form? All right, fine. If I'm supposed to surrender to the Supreme Lord, how? What does that mean? I meet people all the time. So I pray to God. You know what I tell them now? So what? What are you doing for God? Praying's easy. Every fool in a foxhole prays to God. Everybody who stubs their toe or wishes they had the lottery or is about to take a test prays to God. So what? What are you doing for God? So the point is, we have received, and probably, how does it, this is what made me think of it. The last line in the purport, it's fantastic. Therefore we must tolerate the sufferings. We don't spend our time, that's my point, that there is consciousness and there is conditions. We have an ethos, we have a modus operandi that if we solve the conditions, we are spending our whole time, if we just adjust the conditions, make it a little bit hotter, make it a little bit colder, dump that wife, get another wife, have a little more money, solve my cough. If I was in New York, freezing cold, flew to Puerto Rico. Now, in New York, for service, don't worry, I wasn't, don't have to call me, don't report me to the sannyas ministry, it was bona fide. I'm in New York, freezing cold. And everybody, New York, there's a general angst, everybody's a little bit ticked off, So, as they say in America. So, and there's a big billboard, advertisement, right in the airport. Going nuts in this city, pressure, noise, cacophony, of chaos. Go to Puerto Rico. Had a beautiful picture of, because they're not impersonalists, on the ultimate issue, there's 2 sets of footprints on the beach. Not 1, 2. And nobody wants to be alone for so long. It's one of the greatest tortures is solitary confinement. You want to break someone psychologically? Solitary confinement. Forget waterboarding. Psychological. So we want to find our homonome? Forget it. So that's another class. But the point I'm trying to make is that conditions. Everyone's trying to adjust conditions. New York City, freezing cold. Everybody's on each other's nerves. Go to Puerto Rico. I swear to you, when I landed in Puerto Rico, before I even got out of the airport, big sign at night of the New York skyline all lit up. It said, going nuts on this little island, bored stiff, nothing to do, go to New York where the action is. I was thinking, hang on a minute, Everybody in New York thinks, let me just get to Puerto Rico. Everybody in Puerto Rico is thinking, let me just get to New York. I mean, where is it? At 60,000, 30,000 feet over Atlanta? Because I flew right past it. I didn't find it. I didn't find it in New York. I didn't find it in Puerto Rico. And I didn't find it on the way. So it's foolishness. Let me just surrender to Krishna. Let me stop trying to push water uphill. Let me stop fighting time. I was living in San Diego, California, in Laguna Beach. I met Rukmini Devi and the Sankirtan devotees who saved my life. Vaishnavi saved my life. We won't go there, but I just did. Anyway, be that as it may. And I thought I was a golden boy kissed by the gods. I had it made, man. I just stayed on the conveyor belt and it was all coming my way. I met a Sankirtan devotee, Sukadev, told me, you know what? He said, understanding my inherent, you think I'm bad now, you should have seen me then. Think I'm arrogant. He said, you know one thing? He was thinking, you big buffoon. He said, you know one thing? One thing about this world. I said, hey, man, you're suffering. I'm having a great time. Speak for yourself. He said, one thing. Nobody gets out of here alive. I thought, damn. He's right. That just rattled around in my brain. It just blew everything out of the water. Nobody gets out of here alive. So we can spend our time adjusting conditions. We have no control over that. My voice could be gone in a second. We don't control anything. What do we control? We don't control conditions. We can control our reaction to conditions. We control our consciousness. We can choose how we adapt. Do we take this world and try to exploit it, or do we use it in Krishna's service? When we face, as Prabhupada says so wonderfully in this purport, when we face suffering, if we can fix it, we should fix it. We're not dummies. They asked Prabhupada in France, if devotees, one of those stump the Swami questions, well, if we're surrendered to Krishna, if devotees are fearless, then why do devotees wear seatbelts? Prabhupada said, devotees are fearless, but we're not fools. You know? It's a feel, but a devotee asked Prabhupada, what does it mean to surrender? Prabhupada said, surrender means to use your intelligence. So sure, Prabhupada liked the saying, God helps those who help themselves. We use our intelligence, but when it's something you can't solve, when it's beyond our abilities, Prabhupada says here, which we can't ascertain the cause or the solution, then we simply surrender. And we think something is coming here. It is a curative treatment sent to me by the personal hand of the Lord. Don't shoot me, I'm just a piano player. It's right here in the Bhagavatam. Don't shoot me. It's a curative treatment coming by the personal hand because he loves his devotee. I had heart surgery, which confirms I have a heart. Anyone who wants to read it. Those of you who it's in doubt. So, and the guy's telling me what he's going to do. He's wheeling, I'm chanting Govinda prayers. He's wheeling me under the knife and he's saying, we're going to do this. I said, to tell you the truth, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't care what you do. Just wake me up when it's over. Why are you telling me you're going to go in this ventricle? Actually, I'm going to stand up and say, I actually think you should have a scalpel 4 instead of a scalpel. What the hell do I know? Just do your job, So we're in the hands of Krishna. We're under the Daiva Prakriti, the divine energy of Krishna. Sure, we use our brains. Sure, we plan. Sure, we try to figure. But in the ultimate issue, when we can't solve it, we think, this is Krishna's mercy. What is Krishna trying to teach me? How is this the curative hand sent to me by Krishna to cure my material disease? So that's what Daya Bhak means, to be surrendered. And for someone who is surrendered, then Daya Bhak means like the oldest son inherits. So it's a rightful inheritance. It is our rightful inheritance. Of course, what do we deserve? But the point is that it's guaranteed. Prabhupada says one can be secure in the purport. One who has this consciousness of full surrender, simply surrender to Krishna. Now, and this is the last thing, this is the point I wanted to get to, so hang with me. We'll be done in 5 minutes. If we have the intelligence to stop banging our head against the wall, if we have the intelligence to stop trying to adjust conditions, which we cannot do, if we recognize all we really control is our consciousness, and that consciousness should be surrendered, what is that surrender? What is that? What is the lifeline? What do we grab a hold of? What is the key that turns the door? And Prabhupada says right here in the purport, last line, Prabhupada says, I lost the page. We should know that the material suffering due to the material body will come and go. Therefore, we must tolerate the sufferings and proceed. This is the positive. This is the lifeline. Vyavasayatmaka buddhir, ekeha kurunandana. This is the saving grace that we grab onto that pulls us out of this world. What is it? You want an inside secret? Here it goes. Open secret. Prabhupada says, what do? We must and proceed with discharging our duty as ordained by our spiritual master. I'll say it again. And proceed with discharging the duty ordained by our spiritual master. This is the solution. We don't look left, we don't look right, we aren't distracted. Vidarbhi, Paranjan, when he took form of a woman, you read those purports again, that she's about to throw herself on the fire because her husband has passed away. And Prabhupada says the disciple, it's an analogy. It may also be historical. But the point is that we surrender our life, our calculations to fulfill the order of the spiritual master. Now, this is the main thing I wanted to say. We are blessed because we know that and we have that lifeline. And our life can have meaning. I'm talking to you, I'm talking to me. Our life, we have value in our life. If I have a bucket of water, picture it, work with me. I have a bucket of water, half full of water, okay? I put my hand in it. What happens to the water line? It goes up. What happens when I pull my hand out? It goes back to the exact same place. It's as if my hand was never there. Should we take the most valuable thing we have, this human form of life, and should we squander it, chasing after which we can't change, we can't hold on to, famous bumper sticker, the one who dies with the most toys wins. Well, guess what? The one with the most toys dies, and who knows where the toys go, and where you go. So should we waste our life with no meaning, no value? We're dead and gone, and nobody remembers what we look like 10 years later without a photo. They can't even remember our voice. And that's how we spent our life. But if we grab a hold of the order of the spiritual master, if we put our shoulder to the wheel and spread this Krishna consciousness movement, then we have a life of value and happiness. I'm 67. I can look back, and fool that I am, I've done something with my life. Don't stay on the edge. Don't just put your tip of the toe in the water or take. Oh, it was a great Sunday feast, nice kirtan. Don't just take, give. And what will be the result? You will change the world. Oh, that's sentiment. Oh, that is happy talk. That is wishful thinking. Prabhupada, the arc of history is long, but it bends by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to success. I will say that again. The arc of history is long. It is long, and we cannot see where it ends. It is inconceivable. It is unknowable. But it bends by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to success. What the hell is he talking about? I'll tell you what I'm talking about. Prabhupada alone, Devotees sewn up, a pauper materially, walking in Delhi, passing out from sunstroke, disinterested, indifferent Delhi. 70 years later, his followers have a beautiful bookstall in one of the busiest commuter train stations in Delhi, and books are flowing out left and right. The arc of history is long, but it bends to success by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. One last example right before our eyes. Can anyone else give me an example of an impossible thing against all odds that's right? Oh, well, I'm sitting here giving Bhagavatam, but that's another issue.
What's right before our eyes? I'll give you a slow underhand pitch. It's that direction. What? The TOVP was started in a rice field. Tamal Krishna Maharaj told me, when Prabhupada first came out here to look at the land, they had a grass hut. The grass hut leaked. Prabhupada put the deities on one side. He and Tamal Krishna Maharaj sat on the other side. I don't know if it's the same one, but it's the same location, same principle. It leaked. Tamal Krishna Maharaj told me when he woke up, Prabhupada said to Tamal, "You snore." Tamal Krishna said, "I don't snore." Prabhupada said, "How do you know? You were asleep." But Tamal said, he's got a point, you know. So from a little grass hut on the half that doesn't leak, with Tamal Krishna Maharaj snoring. Prabhupada, you can hear the class. Prabhupada's giving class in Gainesville. I don't know, Gainesville, 40,000 students, 30,000? It's a big university. Prabhupada speaks. I'm speaking to you from this remote corner of the world, far from the birth site of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I thought, I guess I've got everything backwards. The TOVP, against all odds. How is it possible? And it is opening. And it will not only be a beautiful building. It is going to rock the foundation of the materialistic, mechanistic, reductionist world. It will instill confidence in the words of Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada was a transcendental strategist. Prabhupada knew. They asked Prabhupada one time, "Why did you go to America?" Give me 2 minutes. I promise, 2 minutes. "Why did you go to America?" Prabhupada said, well, humility personified, and also his sublime humor. Prabhupada said, well, some of my godbrothers went to London and they failed. One of my godbrothers went to Germany. He failed. Another one of my godbrothers went to Sweden. He failed. Remember, they'd asked him, why did you come to America? So they failed 3 different places. Prabhupada said, I thought, well, if I'm going to fail, let me at least fail in a new place. But Prabhupada was a transcendental strategist. He knew. And it worked. He said, everyone's chasing after America. They won't hear a word I say. Let me go capture some Americans, make them nice Vaishnavas, bring them back to India, and it will blow their mind. And it worked. Prabhupada knew, let me build this planetarium. Let me show them that the Bhagavatam is not sentiment, but it is fact. Let me show that Ishvara Parama Krishna, as Prabhupada quotes in the purport, everything is coming ultimately from Krishna, Madhava, who's in Goloka. That's where everything flows from. Let me show them. So we have a chance. We build this TOVP and we open it, and the world will change. You don't think so? I have a structure. I promise, this really will be the last thing. I have a structure. You ever seen they've got 3 buildings lined up? 3 buildings lined up? And I always wanted to be the one on the plunger. And then the one in the middle just telescopes in and collapses. How does that happen? They get the structural plans. They figure out all the linchpins that are holding the weight of the building. They blow out those linchpins. The building collapses of its own. World views collapse in the same way. There was the age of faith, the age of reason, the age of enlightenment. So many different ages. And those world views have changed when those linchpins were blown out. Prabhupada knew it. Life comes from matter. Consciousness is brain function. Freud and the goal of life is titillate your senses. Prabhupada knew. He gave us his purports, he gave us the decorations, he told us the means, and he gave us the mission. We blow out those linchpins, and the materialistic view collapses on itself. And they're ready to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. So we have a chance to not waste our life foolishly. If we take up the order of the spiritual master and spread the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we will be secure, and we will go back home, back to Godhead, and we will look at a life well spent. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. And now, it's time to end. Such a rough life, so much suffering of devotees. We all can now take prasadam. Hare Krishna.